Hello, everyone. Welcome to Professionally Unprofessional. I'm once again Calvin Atkinson, and I'm joined by my good friends Reese and Elliot.
Hello, everyone.
What up, people?
What's
And,
up?
What's it?
and it's the 90s again. But we were back sooner than expected because as soon as I uploaded our last podcast, it was out of date.
Yeah, because it turns out that Sony was eavesdropping on us.
Yeah, Sony announced a state of play, like as the episode was uploading. Like that is staggeringly bad timing from my part.
I mean, the only way, let's be honest, the only way it would have been worse is if Nintendo did the same thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, yeah.
We're still waiting on them.
And I think since Nintendo hasn't announced it now, they're not gonna do like they would do with E3, and they're gonna announce it more near the time.
Yeah, they normally, I mean, with Nintendo, they normally tend to announce directs like days before it happens, or quite often the day before.
Yeah, it's either a day or two beforehand. It's not. E3 was the only one where they announced it like weeks in advance.
Yeah.
But that's just because it was E3, really. It was to be expected.
Yeah, and they're not taking part in Summer Games Fest. They're not in that logo of any of it. But this is one of the first side events that actually have the Summer Games Fest logo on it. So Sony really is kind of taking part in this.
Yeah, so Jeff was very excited when he first saw that.
Yeah, Jeff must have been pretty happy.
Yes, good old Jeff Keighley. For once, the state of play is actually part of the Summer Games Fest rather than him just saying that it's part of the Summer Games Fest.
Yeah, I mean he's kind of doing that a bit this year. Like he's added Netflix's Geek Week presentation to the festival. Like, how is this going? Yeah, it's going to have an update on Sonic Prime, but there's a lot more to that. I
mean, Netflix isn't gaming. Why are you saying that Netflix is part of Summer Game Fest?
I mean, they are having Sonic Prime get a new trailer at it.
But unless they have added DLC to the Cuphead show, I don't see what the point of it is.
Well, the second half of that's probably coming in a few months because they'll want to tie it in with the DLC coming out in a couple of weeks, actually.
Yeah, that's come around quick.
Yeah, same day as the Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak releases.
Well, I know what I'm playing then.
Yeah.
I'm still not far enough in Monster Hunter Rise to really be high enough to play that DLC.
Which is weird
I've got pre-ordered. I'm just not high enough level.
Which is weird because apparently Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, you will be able to, people can buy it by itself, so it must be a bit of a standalone game to a certain extent.
Yeah, I think it'll be quite similar to Iceborne in that it's just the G-rank equivalent with extra content.
I see, right.
Okay.
So Sony stated in this that this state of play would have mostly a focus on third-party properties and some upcoming talk about PlayStation VR 2, which we really didn't talk a lot about when we got to the Sony section of our predictions podcast.
Also, even in the presentation, we didn't get much on VR 2. I think we got like 3-4 games, and then we just moved straight on to the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, but that to me made a lot of sense because like VR 2 is clearly not coming out till next year.
Next year, at the earliest.
Yeah.
And I don't think if this was going to be a massive showcase for VR 2, they would have just had it be a VR 2 showcase, and they would have stated immediately that it's a VR 2 showcase.
Yeah. Rather than just having a few VR 2 stuff in it, yeah.
Yeah, like when the original PlayStation VR launched, they did have a full showcase for it.
Yeah. So I don't think it's long enough in development to showcase a variety of games, which is why the games we did see were of a very specific genre.
Like the VR game that wasn't there, which we'll go into detail now about, is Half-Life Alyx. I thought Half-Life Alyx would be a big part of this show.
Maybe they're waiting a bit longer to announce it. I think they're kind of trying to, I don't know, maybe get the more obvious ones out of the way, the ones that are closest to Sony's IPs.
Do we think that Valve is developing a version of Half-Life Alyx for PlayStation VR 2?
I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, because it's basically just free money in a day, just converted from one VR system to another. because it's like the controls are radically different between the two systems.
Do you think that graphically it will be any different?
No, it's designed for PCs, and PlayStation has been powerful as a lot of very good PCs. I mean, this thing is going to be exclusive. We don't know that much about VR2. It's going to be exclusive to PlayStation 5, and it's going to have. They're going to use an OLED screen for the actual headset.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's going to improve the imagery amazingly. There's going to be apparently some of the DualSense features like haptic triggers in the sort of like the hand controllers that you're using that come with it. I mean, how much are we expecting this price is going to come in for this one?
I'd say it's probably going to be. I'm going to say probably maybe 100 more than VR1 was.
What do you reckon, Reese?
I think possibly even more, considering the upgrades they are doing. Like with the OLED screens, we saw how big of a jump it was from the standard Switch to the OLED Switch. How much those OLED screens really helped. I think possibly 150 to 200 more.
Well, how much was PSVR? Wasn't it £400?
I think at launch, yeah. I think it has come down now.
Yeah, it's come down now, but at launch, now if we're saying like 100, 150, if we're going by Elliot's estimate, it's more than the PlayStation 5. If we're going by Reese's element, if we go by Elliot's element, it's about the same. If we go by Reese's estimate, it's more than a PlayStation 5. I don't think they can justify it being more than the actual console.
How much more did the original VR cost compared to the PS4?
About the same price. It was actually, because it was about £400 in PlayStation 4. I don't think it ever went above £400.
Right.
No, it's come down now to 350.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. But we have to... Reese is finally dealing with his dog, Alfie.
Yep, he just barged in.
Hello, Alfie.
Downstairs with a bone.
The best... But the thing about it is, okay, we'll get into this because VR kind of kicked this thing off. Capcom opened the show. They showed a trailer for a game we knew about for a while, but we finally got a first look at. Resident Evil 4 Remake.
What I'm not surprised about is that we got a release date.
Yeah, it's a sort of release date I would expect, though, for a Resident Evil game. They tend to like... Capcom tend to like to these big release dates at the end of a fiscal year. Resident Evil... I like the Resident Evil 3 remake released around the same time. Resident Evil 2 remake was a bit earlier than this, but they like to do that...
2 came out around February, right?
January, because it came out like a week before Kingdom Hearts 2.
Ah, you mean 3?
3, sorry, yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, Resident Evil, but they like to put these Resident Evil remakes around that time, so I'm not too surprised. What I am a bit surprised by is the fact that it's coming out around the same time I'd expect Breath of the Wild 2 to come out.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be a bit of competition.
That's a hectic month. I mean, admittedly, the weird thing is, I think despite the fact Resident Evil 4 Remake is going to be on more systems, because it will also be on PC and Xbox Series X and S, and I'm presuming Xbox One, considering this is the PlayStation 4 version.
Yeah, I imagine it will be on Xbox One. I don't think Xbox has fully abandoned that console yet.
You know, despite all that, I still think Breath of the Wild 2 would sell more if it came out like a couple of weeks before Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Maybe.
I'm personally going to disagree with that, because I think the audience for Breath of the Wild 2 is larger than a remake for Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, I'm saying I think it will sell more than Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
I feel like it will. I feel like it will as well, but at the same time, I can also see Resident Evil 4 Remake getting pretty close, mostly by those who own those consoles but don't have a Switch.
Yeah, you got to remember, Resident Evil 4 is considered a huge deal.
I mean, a lot of people still claim Resident Evil 4 to be the best game in the series. So
I would say it's a real contender in my book. I actually played the Switch version like a couple of years ago. I think I actually played it during lockdown. Actually, I got Resident Evil 4. And I say
for me, it's in the top 5, but probably say number 4. Beating that would be the Resi 2 remake, Resi 1 remake, and Resi 7.
But the thing about Resi 4 is, for me, it's one of the things I learned when I was doing that was aged remarkably.
Yeah.
Even on Switch, it was fantastic. The frame rate's really good. I really wish they'd added in the gyro aiming like we had with the Wii version, which is still the best version of that game. But
fully agreed, yeah.
Definitely.
It does feel a bit weird. A game that's so synonymous with the best versions being on Nintendo systems won't be on a Nintendo system.
At the same time, when you take a look at the graphics, you can 100% see why. If this was on a Switch, it would be a cloud version. I promise you.
I wouldn't be surprised if they decide at a later date to bring it to Switch as a cloud version.
I'd probably say that we would get 2 and 3 first.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, you could release all 3 of them as a triple pack.
I don't think Capcom will do that for a low price.
No,
or extended game.
I never said low price.
I don't think they would do it at a low price. I think they would just have all 3 on as separate things, and it would be pretty expensive.
So you'd have all 3 of them as separate, and then you could buy them as the more expensive version as a triple pack, but with a slight discount than if you bought all 3 of them in one deal.
Yeah,
I was just saying that it's like a standard like 60 quid or 70 quid. They definitely would not do that.
Yeah, no. If it's on the Switch and it's
definitely
cloud,
not.
Yeah. So let's
just quickly with Resi 4 actually. So I'm actually quite excited about this one, which I'll admit I was a bit hesitant when I first heard that Resi 4 was getting a remake because I thought, why? That game's perfectly fine. This one, just from like the look of it alone, seems like it's going down the more horror route. Meanwhile, the original Resi 4 was definitely going down more action.
There is a lot of creepy moments in RE4 though. Like the castle is really creepy, for example.
There are, but you have to admit with 4, it's definitely more down the action route than the usual survival horror that the other games were.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the whole writing's a lot more campy, like 80s action film as well.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Like that whole thing of your right hand comes off joke.
Yeah. Meanwhile, this one, it looks like it's going down more of a horror route. So I'm actually quite excited for it now.
How do you think this game looks in the RE engine?
Oh, brilliant!
Right.
It looks amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the RE engine has never let us down with great looking games, and this is definitely no exception.
Yeah, like we've seen it with the Resident Evil.
Monster Hunter Rise.
Monster Hunter Rise is a really good sort of like modified version of that engine,
which is still quite hilarious to me. That's the same engine running both games.
Yeah, and it's even still the same modified engine on PC for the Monster Hunter Rise PC version.
Yeah.
Which I kind of think I think it's a really good engine. One of the things I'm surprised by is a couple of other Capcom hasn't just made it their standard engine. Like because there's one other game that's showing up later in this presentation that doesn't use. I don't believe it did say it was using the RE engine. I might be wrong, but
in defense with that one though, it does have a very different art style, which I think will kind of conflict with the sort of dreary, realistic look that the Resident Evil engine is going for.
Definitely.
Yeah, true. I mean, it's not. It's definitely a more stark difference to say Resident Evil remakes to Monster Hunter Rise, for example. Yeah. So I mean, RE4 remake looks good. I'm looking forward to it coming on March the 24th. I'm adding it to the streaming schedule since me doing the Resident Evil remakes is kind of a tradition on this channel.
Yeah. Yep. Just need to get around to doing the first one.
Yeah, I should actually do that at some point. Weirdly.
Since we just started with 2.
I'll be honest, something I'm actually having a slight bit of hope for is that maybe, just maybe, we get another Resi 1 remake, but in this style.
Do you know, there was one game I think I'd rather get that treatment before.
Code Veronica?
Yep, Code Veronica. I don't understand why Code Veronica hasn't...
You know, I fully agree with you with that one, but I do still think a Resi 1 remake in this style would be cool.
The thing is, though, Code Veronica...
Going around the Mason Mansion, I think that's what it's called, I can't fully remember, in with that kind of style, with that looking that good.
Yeah, I mean, it could be really good. I feel like, though, why does Capcom kind of want to ignore Code Veronica, do you think? Because they seem to really not want to make you remember it a lot of the time.
I think they're focusing more on the mainline titles, like the number titles. Because I don't think, because when you really look at it, they don't really do much with spin-off or side titles.
The Code Veronica...
Yeah, I was thinking it's because Code Veronica didn't sell that well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think mostly was because it was a Dreamcast game, right?
Yeah, then they got ported to PlayStation 2. I think...
but I think by that point, it kind of died off.
Especially because I don't think the port was the best as either.
No, it wasn't a great port of the Dreamcast game. And what's more... It was also a lot more of a cryptic Resident Evil. It wasn't too obvious where you were meant to go and what you were supposed to be doing.
I do agree, though. I would love to see a Code Veronica remake.
Yeah, especially considering some of the designs of some of the monsters and the zombies in that game were really good.
No, in Capcom, they'll just give us either Resi 5 or 0 remake next.
Next game on the list is... Oh, that's the wrong list, because that's our review schedule. They went a bit... They said we're going to show off 4 games. They then started... Oh, they also said that there's going to be VR2 remake in VR2... content coming to Resident Evil 4. So they're not bringing the RE4 VR game to PlayStation VR2. They're going to make an entirely new one with this game, and that's actually got me excited to try and get a VR2 headset, because I really want to know what they're going to do with that.
It does definitely sound really interesting,
especially because, let's face it, with the short series for the PS5. The VR2 is going to sell out fast as well.
Yeah, but the VR... I think the VR2 does require being hooked up to a PlayStation 5. Unless they're going to do this thing where they say you can have it on PC as well.
I imagine it will be PC compatible.
The first one isn't, but I imagine they might be looking at that mark and saying, if let's say Elliot's price is right and it's coming in at £500, that's a pretty good... £500 for a PC VR monitor is... Like, it's not cheap, but that's a good deal.
Yeah.
So, next thing they talked about was Resident Evil Village getting VR support. And this, to me, was a bit of the good, a bit of the bad, I'd say, for me, this announcement.
I think it was pretty inevitable we will get Resi 8 VR, considering the fact that we did get that for Resident Evil 7. In fact, I think that was one of the first things that was announced when VR was first announced. I can't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm not sure.
Well, I know that Resident Evil 7 VR enhances that game phenomenally. So I'm really interested to see how it would do for...
Yeah, because that's what Resi 7 needs, to be scarier.
What about the amount of VR Demetresque first is going to be so over the top?
It already was on Twitter when the news broke.
Of course it was.
A lot of certain type of people were very happy at that trailer.
Oh boy. And to the point where I'm surprised neither of you are making jokes at my expense, because vampires, very into that.
Yeah, I'm holding off on those jokes.
Also, if I'm being entirely honest, I'm more into her daughters than Dimitrescu. Sorry.
Well, it's also due to the whole power imbalance with Cal being our boss. It's funnier to punch up than it is to punch down on you.
Hey, funny. I'm gonna definitely kill you at some point.
Of course.
It was nice to know that Village VR is a thing, and we're gonna but at the same time, this confirmed two things for me. There's two things I didn't really like about it. One, this was obvious it was going to get VR support. I was like, why would you not give it VR support? Yeah. And two, this kind of confirms to me that Village's DLC is not coming out till next year.
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing. Like, I don't know. Do you think they're going to wait until after VR comes out, or do you think they'll release it for VR at a later date?
I think they have to now release it when VR comes out, because I think if you let's say VR2's coming May next year. Let's say May. We'll just round. That's kind of where I'm predicting they'll place it, because I think they're going to want to put it after Resident Evil 4 comes out. I mean, it's not PlayStation exclusive, but it will sell very well on PlayStation. Let's say that's the time you release it, and you've got the knowledge that within half a year you're going to have Resident Evil 4 Remake VR support. Let's say that then Capcom wants to put some DLC to Village in October, Halloween tie-in, all that business.
Nice and spooky.
Yeah, I think that would be the only time you could really do it, because otherwise, who gives a shit about Village anymore? It's been a year since Village came out.
And around that point, if your prediction is correct, and we do get it in like October, in like around Halloween next year, it would have been 2.5 years since 8 came out.
No, let's say I think VR2 is coming out. That's a good point. I think VR2 is either coming out the end of next year or the middle of next year. I don't believe it's an early 2023 release. Like, you're not putting VR2 out when everyone's just spent a load of money at Christmas, and
I mean,
luxury buys are not really a thing.
And I've also double checked as well about Code Veronica. The only series outsold in Resident Evil was Operation Raccoon City and the Outbreak series. Apart from that, it's the lowest selling series.
If I remember, Operation Raccoon Cities and Outbreak were not good from what I've heard.
They weren't.
I kind of like Outbreak.
But those are the ones that sold less than Code Veronica.
I kind of like Outbreak 1. I didn't really like Outbreak. Outbreak 2's got some improvements, but it's very... as single-player experiences, they're terrible.
It's a real shame that Code Veronica didn't sell very well, though, because that's like the biggest cult following in the Resident Evil series, Resident Evil fandom.
Yeah. And it's the only side game that is actually definitely canon to the Resident Evil mythos. So, I mean, that's so a bit more. The next VR game they showed off was Chapter 2 of Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners.
Because everyone's so excited for that.
I've stopped caring about The Walking Dead ages ago.
Here's the thing. I have got. When I think of Walking Dead, I think of the comics. I think the comic books are really good. It's like the only comic series I actually started reading, and I've actually really enjoyed it. But I just don't care anymore. The AMC show killed all enjoyment for me.
Yeah.
Yep. Especially that dragged on for so long.
Yeah, like seriously, when you kill off your main character and you keep going, you just think, okay, now you're being greedy.
Yeah, I agree with that one. I got really bored of Walking Dead very quickly, and this game does not make me think I want to jump.
I don't care. I really don't.
Now, this is a game...
Especially seeing it just looks... Honestly, my first thought that what it was, I thought it was a Dying Light spin-off game.
Now, here's a game I actually find interesting is getting VR support. No Man's Sky.
Yeah, from this trailer alone, it looks like they put a lot of the content that was in the initial trailer back in now.
So, it feels like No Man's Sky is always going to be that weirdest moment in gaming where it had all this hype, launched and then drowned the hype, and then got all of it back as the years went on.
Yeah, because the devs actually stuck to their words and said, we're going to put it all back in. And they eventually have.
The only game that I can think of that had that level of combat was Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah, Final Fantasy XIV and No Man's Sky, I think, are going to come down as the ultimate comeback stories of the gaming world.
I can't wait for Cyberpunk 2077 to get the same story.
Woo. Yep. Just to be a Cyberpunk 2078.
Do you reckon Cyberpunk 2077 is ever going to get that to that stage, or do you think it will always be that poster child?
I think it probably will get to the state where it's playable. I don't think it's going to get to the point where that CD Projekt Red promised it would be. I think by that point, the fandom will have just died by then. No one will care.
Yeah, like the thing I'm most excited for from CG Projekt Red is the next gen update for Witcher 3.
Yeah.
The thing I'm looking forward to is their next Witcher game because it is in the works now.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I think.
So especially seeing as if I remember correctly, 3 is the last game where Geralt's the main character. So like the main protagonist from the entire series, not just games but books as well, is not going to be available. Is not going to be there. I'm really interested to see what they do with it then.
So, how do you guys feel about the idea of would No Man's Sky make you want to get a VR headset?
Probably not solely, but I wouldn't mind picking it up and trying it.
Yeah, mate. I don't know. It wouldn't be the reason I get a VR headset if I do decide to, but I think it would be interesting.
Yeah, if I get a VR headset, it's for the Resident Evil games and the next one we're going to talk about, and then I would get No Man's Sky to say, yeah, you know what? Why not? Let's have a bit of go of this. And the weird thing about it is, do you know the one VR game they didn't show here, which I'm very surprised they didn't show? They didn't show that they're going to have a new Astrobot game.
Well, that's normally just for every major system or massive upgrades.
Do they normally do them for VR?
Yeah, they did Astrobot's Playroom with the first VR headset.
Right.
So here's the one. There's an Astrobot game built into the Sony PS5s already. Do you think it will be a new game for VR 2? Because I'm pretty certain this will happen. Or do you think they're going to put an update for the Astrobot game on PS5 and that will contain the VR support?
I think it'll probably just be an update since I did platinum the original when they got my PS5, and that's really substantial as it is.
Yeah, I think it'll just be an update. I think that's the easier one, and the reason we got an entire game with Astrobot is because Astrobot's Playroom is because there was a lot to show off. I don't think that we'll get quite as much with VR.
Next thing to talk about though is the VR game they told us we were getting ahead of time, Horizon Call of the Mountain, a Horizon spin-off. I mean,
which is set after 1, but we don't know if it's set after 2 yet.
Yeah, it's definitely set after 1, judging by some of the plot points that were in the trailer.
Yeah.
Did this thing? Elliot, you're not as big into the Horizon games as me and Reese. How did you feel this trailer looked?
I think it looked alright, kind of from a casual, just from a casual Horizon fan standpoint.
I was amazed how good it looks. Like, if it can look that good with the VR headset on, wow, this is going to be the showcase for PlayStation VR 2.
Yeah, because I'm just going through the trailer now, and it's literally the best VR game I've ever seen, graphically.
The one thing I'm sort of thinking about is how long do you think it will be? Because I don't think it'll be a gigantic open world like we got with Forbidden West. So I'm thinking, okay, how long is it going to be then? I don't know. I just normally think of VR games as like normally 6 hour long kind of short games, really.
I think it'll be a 10 to 12 hour game. I still think this is going to be something quite substantial, and Guerrilla Games is doing it themselves, so
yeah,
they really want to put a lot of effort into this one. So I'm going to say it's a 10 to 12 hour game. What do you reckon, Reese?
I think a little bit lower. I think I'll just stick it at 10 hours and go through the trailer. It looks like it's just through a linear series of levels. It's not open worlds because you can see the path the character takes through the level.
Yeah, I'd probably go 8 to 10 hours with this one.
I mean, I'm going to be very worried when a VR open world game actually happens, because I'm just going to be thinking I'm one step closer to SAO.
Wait, Callie, it's already happened. We've got Skyrim in VR.
Touche.
That's not actually. We didn't get a Skyrim VR anniversary edition for this.
God damn it, Todd.
I mean, it looks great. I would say this and the Resident Evil games are the ones that make me think maybe I should go for a VR 2 headset right off the bat.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to get a VR, not because I don't want one, more just because I don't have enough room to have one.
Yeah, the thing is, the point is, at the minute my attitude on VR 2 is, I'm going to try and get it at launch, but if I don't make it, I'm not going to be too unhappy, and I'm not going to pay exorbitant amount to scalpers.
Yeah.
I mean, next game. So then that kind of ended the VR segment. The guy from Guerrilla Games came out.
Oh wait, we also got the announcement that we're getting an update for Forbidden West.
Yeah, I was just about to get to that.
Okay. I thought we were moving on to the next game. Never mind.
Yeah, but the guy came out from Guerrilla Games and said Forbidden West getting an update, as Elliot said. It's adding a bunch of features that I think are really necessary for making Forbidden West a much better game. It's adding new game plus.
Finally.
New graphical fidelity mode, which I believe means you can play the game at 4K 60 FPS.
Yes, it's only applying to the performance mode.
Okay, so we're getting a more graphical fidelity to the performance mode.
The masochists will be happy because we're getting an ultra hard mode.
Ultra hard is coming, and
Which, by the way, hello masochists. I'll see you at the barbecue.
I hate ultra. Honestly, Horizon's already quite a difficult game if you're just trying to do the story mode. In my experience, I mean, but the one thing that one of Reese's biggest complaints in his review was about the skill tree, and you are now able to respec a lot easier.
Yeah, because in the original version, you had 6 skill trees with like 10 skills on each tree that could take up to 3 points each. But once you allocate them, there's no way of getting them back, which I thought was a major negative.
Were you able to do that in Zero Dawn?
I can't recall.
I don't think you were actually. No.
No, I don't think you were able to watch.
But
no, I don't think you were able to do that.
But I'm pretty sure in Zero Dawn there was a lot less skills to purchase.
Yeah, it was
so you didn't have buyer's remorse.
There were 3 trees, just like the same one, except there were 6 in each of them ones.
Yeah, there's 6 now this time. In this one, it's a lot more of a complicated skill tree, so I think it was necessary. But just for a question, Reese, how many times did you turn down the difficulty to get because you got bored and wanted to get past a certain area? Because I did that a lot.
Not once in my playthrough.
Oh,
but I did do a lot of the side content.
Wow,
as I was
really
going.
am shit at Horizon then, because I did that a lot.
No, Calvin, you just give up way too easily.
It's because I've got a lot with Horizon.
How many times in your Kingdom Hearts 2 streams have you said, "I'm giving up, we're moving on next week"?
Because I will say though, I am turning down the difficulty for Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance, because those are really, particularly Birth by Sleep is really difficult.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think the one thing this also suggests is Horizon is now a mainstay for PlayStation.
I mean, I think that was pretty much given, yeah.
Yeah, because it is a major IP now, because it's essentially taking the place of Tomb Raider, of a female protagonist going through a survival open world with weapons.
And I'm wondering though, will PlayStation do a big push for Lara Croft to come back to them, with the sale from Square Enix to embrace her?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people nowadays are considering Lara Croft more with Xbox.
Yeah, they certainly have been trying to do that. I'll give you another hint. Okay, let's have. But then again, Sony doesn't always stick with their IPs. I mean, look at like sometimes it's because developers don't want to do it anymore. Like Sly Cooper's not really around anymore. Jack and Daxter's. Well, at least that one told its whole story, so it's not as if that went. And look at Killzone. Killzone was a big deal for them, and they haven't released a game in years for Killzone.
No, because the last Killzone was a launch title for the PS4.
Another one that I guess I'm the only one that remembers, Resistance as well.
Yeah, no, Resistance, that one they got rid of quite... Again, at least that one told its whole story. But again, I think Insomniac wants to move on from Resistance.
Yeah.
Let's face it, Insomniac have a lot of their plate now with their new games.
Yeah, they're doing not only a new Spider-Man game, but a new Wolverine game, which is mad.
So, here's a... so again, I'm kind of wondering... But then again, I think Sony might be looking at some of those legacy games that are coming with their new PlayStation Plus service, and they're going to say something like, well, Wild Arms did really well in downloads. Maybe we should be looking into bringing Wild Arms back, or something like that. I mean,
Possibly.
they might be looking at their legacy titles, like in that sense, but
Still holding up hope for a Legend of Dragoon remake.
I wouldn't put.
I feel you, Alpha Omega Sin. I am looking out for that.
Legend of Dragoon, I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah.
Next game was Spider-Man Remastered, going to PC with a release date of August the 12th.
Which seems a bit weird to be in a PlayStation state of play.
I know, but they want PlayStation. I
mean, at the same time, it is one of the major IPs. I feel like if anyone would have to show it off, it would be from Sony.
And also,
especially considering they're the ones releasing it. They're the ones that are releasing it to PC.
Now, the weird thing is, I knew Sony were going to put more of their first-party titles on PC. They've done it with Days Gone.
Oh, one sec. Give me a second.
Oh, he's stripping.
No, he's for the record, for YouTube algorithm, he's wandered out of the room. That's not actually happening.
Yeah.
But they're doing it a lot at the minute. The PlayStation PC initiative. Like, I'm hoping Elliot's actually going to come back with something good.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just us for the next half an hour as we go through the rest.
So the other PlayStation games that have come to PC have been like Days Gone, Horizon, Death. It's kind of PlayStation have a stake in it, so Death Stranding, Uncharted 4. I'm trying to, and a lot of people speculate, and God of War as well has also made the jump. So and the weird thing is, I was not expecting Spider-Man to be the next one. I thought Spider-Man was definitely going to stay PlayStation. And they confirmed in a press release afterwards, Miles Morales is coming to the system, to PC as well.
Yeah, which does make sense because you can't really have one Spider-Man without the other.
So, what?
Especially since as a game, Miles was shorter.
Yeah, here's the thing. I've heard a lot of people say they're really kind of annoyed that Spider-Man was a PlayStation exclusive. So I think the PC version will offset some of those complaints.
Well, I'm not that upset because don't forget, Sony did have the rights to the films.
Yeah, and it's also amazing because Xbox turned down the idea of making Marvel games.
Yeah.
Exclusive for their system. So, what?
Despite the fact that Marvel is probably the biggest movie franchise currently going.
Yeah, it is.
That just baffled me. That was... Who was making that decision? And...
Like, it reminds me of Nintendo's dumb decision to not buy Rare and let Microsoft do that instead.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, I agree. Nintendo should have bought Rare, but...
Definitely.
So, I mean, I'm looking forward to... I might actually buy the PC version of this to see how it plays on PC.
The mods are going to be amazing.
Mods, I promise, they are going to be great. I can already tell.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing how that happens. Next, but here's the thing. What do we think is coming... What will PlayStation put next on PC, do we reckon?
I'm going to predict The Last of Us, personally.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense, especially with the whole TV show coming up.
Yeah.
They'll want to make a big headline.
You know, here's the thing, though. They're making The Last of Us remake. So I think... You might be right. I think it will be. I think The Last of Us Part 2 comes to PC, not Last of Us Part 1.
That would make no sense. Literally no sense. Why would you make Part 2 instead of Part 1?
Neva was putting Uncharted 4 on there instead of the Nathan Drake collection, but here we are. I think... I'm going by PlayStation... I think they want to put Part 2 on there and then the remake on. I don't know when... The remake's coming out now. I don't think the remake is this year. Now, I think the remake is 2023 because the show's been pushed back, and I would have thought you'd see The Last of Us remake in this show.
Yeah, and the show may even be pushed back a bit further considering Pedro Pascal is going to be set to film Mandalorian Season 3 coming up.
Oh, yeah, no, he is going in for that, and he might be coming in for reshoots for The Last of Us HBO series.
Yeah. So I'll see how much of a conflict there is in scheduling.
The one everyone wants to happen, but I'm not sure if it's going to happen. I think, but I think there's some possibility. Bloodborne PC.
Well, yeah, especially after you were trolled on Twitter.
Yeah, all of us got trolled on Twitter. We fell for the fake Nibel account.
I didn't. I pointed out.
You were smart, very smart. I fell for it. But
I didn't even notice the tweet until you pointed it out. Until you pointed out that it was fake.
Yeah.
But the thing is, in my defense on two parts. One, it was very hard to spot it was a fake one.
No, it wasn't. It was easy.
And also, a couple of other pundits also fell for it.
Yeah, that's because those people are idiots. I don't read before they post.
Though, in my defense, I should have known better because I do have Nibel on alert on my Twitter account, so I always get a tweet whenever... I always get an alert whenever he tweets anything. Which is really annoying because I always have to turn it off before we ever do one of these presentations, otherwise I know what the thing is before the trailer's even done. It's like, oh, fuck. Well, that's how I knew it was the KOTOR remake before anyone said anything. Oh wow, actually that's going to be far off now, I've realised.
I don't know, you can just put your phone disturb during those.
Yeah, but it's impossible because I'm always chatting with you guys during it as well. So that's all done. Next game, this one surprised me in a few ways. I'm not surprised because I saw a trailer for it because I expected there'd be a trailer for this game. Stray, this sort of third-party game that's been done with PlayStation 5. There's a PlayStation 5 and 4 exclusive. It's also coming to PC.
Yeah, where you get to control a cat going through a corridor, essentially.
It looks adorable.
It looks like a robot city type thing. It's like a post-apocalyptic. Yeah. I like the look of this one, but the thing that surprised, it's got a release date of July the 19th, so very soon.
Very soon indeed.
But here's the thing that surprised me. It's a day one as part of your subscription for PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium members. Now, the only difference is that Premium gives you the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and PSP titles.
Yeah.
But which is the tier that I'm going to start at.
Same.
For mine. Which means that... But the thing is, I did not think PlayStation would do this. I thought they are not going to go down the route Game Pass goes down. And I don't think they are to a certain extent because this is not a game they've made themselves. Yeah,
I don't think they're going to go quite as extreme as Xbox has. I think they get all their sort of their very main stuff they're going to leave to have us having to buy.
Yeah, so I'd say people don't expect that this means God of War Ragnarok is on the service day one, or
definitely not.
Or even Final Fantasy 16 won't be on the service day one. It's like those will not be on the... I think expect the minor third-party games and the live service games that they're working on will go to it. So, for example, I think in the future, whatever Destiny update goes to the game will go to PlayStation Plus Premium and Extra as part of the subscription.
Yeah.
Something like that's going to happen, or something like Stray is going to happen with that game Tachia it's been delayed, the French Caledonian one.
Yeah, another one. The Mario Odyssey.
I could see them putting that on the service day one.
Yeah, I can actually.
Because that's a smaller third-party title that's being PlayStation endorsed, and I think they'll want to keep them on side by saying, "Here's a whole bunch of money. Can we have it on the service day one?"
Yeah, especially because it is also quite appealing for new people to pick up the service as well, because it's a bright, cheery, colourful game that really draws the eye.
Now, Stray is kind of the opposite of that. It does draw the eye, but it's a lot more dank, post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, I've just sat through the trailer and we only see one other organic life form in the whole thing. Otherwise, it's just all robotic and very Blade Runner.
So, on that basis, do you think that's going to attract people to the service?
I would say yes, just because the main character is a cat alone.
I mean, I'd probably say so. The game looks interesting enough anyway.
I don't know which one of us is reviewing it, but it's on the review schedule.
I'll take it.
Yeah, all right. As long as you, I mean, it'll be a couple. Yeah, you're kind of dry on July because you'll be done. You might be done with Fire Emblem Warriors by that point.
I likely will be when it comes to Dynasty Warrior clones. I tend to go through those kind of quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're taking straight.
Whereas compared to me, I've got a very hectic end of that month with Digimon Survivor and Xenoblade 3.
Yeah, I'm not envying you.
Yeah, 2 massive JRPGs.
Yeah, I've got 2 massive JRPGs as well because I got Live Alive and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Meanwhile, I'm playing a happy little game where I play as a cat.
Yep, and then you got a bit of a wait till Splatoon 3.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it looks cool. Despite the fact Elliot's reviewing it, I'm going to definitely pick this up. I mean, I'm going to be on the service by that point. I'm reviewing the service for the site. So, I think it's quite good. I'm wondering though how that's going to impact sales of this game.
True.
Mind you, that being said, a lot of people said they weren't going to pick up the service because they thought some of the inferior ROMs of the PS1 games.
Yeah.
To a lot of people as well, it probably might not be worth it. They might not be that bothered about picking it up, or at the very least not yet if there aren't any games that they're interested in.
And it's also the fact
someone might be waiting for, like, I don't know, Crash Bandicoot or Jack and Daxter to show up on the service.
Yeah, I'm surprised Insane Trilogy isn't on this. Mind you, that being said, they're now going to have to negotiate with Microsoft about that.
It's going to take a long time and be very expensive.
I think the reason why is because the Insane Trilogy is already one of the games on PS Plus.
Yeah, but how long is it going to stay there? Because because again, Activision are going to own it, and they are going to be part of Microsoft next year.
Yeah, and also in the small text for the new service, I just saw at the bottom, they did put a disclaimer saying games are going to rotate out.
I mean, I think it's not going to be for the legacy titles because unless you can buy the legacy titles without the service, I think they can't afford to rotate those out. Otherwise, they're essentially going to say, "Too bad you weren't subscribed at this time."
So I think you can because people have been reporting that you can buy the original Oddworld in Asian markets.
The one thing that I can think of that they would rotate out is The Last of Us Remastered when the remake comes out.
Yeah, I could see them doing that. The next game on the list, this is one I found interesting. This is the Dead Space successor that's been done by that team that was the Dead Space devs.
The Callisto Protocol.
The Callisto Protocol. It comes out December the 2nd.
I legit thought it was Dead Space, I'm going to be honest.
I mean, it's...
Well, you can tell with the vibe that's what they're going for.
Yeah, you can definitely tell it's almost like, it definitely seems like sort of a spiritual successor about that.
Yeah.
My God, it looks good.
I just wish it wasn't coming out so close to Pokemon. Because I kind of want to play this, but I don't know if I'm going to be done with Pokemon at that time.
I mean, I could take the fall for this one.
That's fine by me.
Although, let's face it, it's a very similar situation to Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's one cute and cuddly game, and it was monstrous and horror.
Oh, good.
Dude.
Oh, God, now oh, good God. Now what? Are we going to be seeing Pikachu get ripped apart by one of these things?
Oh, dear. I mean, looks great. I'm really excited to try it out.
Yeah, the textures on the character models look fantastic, and the close-up shots.
Oh God, yeah, like I guess the kind of undead-like. They look really cool.
Yeah,
I like the trailer. Also has like a lot of intrigue. Like, it gets you look very interested in it with the whole voiceover thing. You're not fully sure what's happening. Really makes you want to see.
The thing is, though, this is another CGI trailer. We still haven't seen gameplay for the Callisto
Protocol.
No,
we have. If you go through the trailer, you see gameplay in it.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I think this will make December the 2nd, then. If they're saying it's December 2nd now, and we've seen some gameplay, I don't doubt we will see this game on December the 2nd.
Yeah, because just watching the trailer, you can see a brief snippet of him fighting the creatures, of him taking damage in his health bar, going down around his neck and decreasing. Okay. So we have seen a snippet of gameplay in it.
Yeah.
Oops, I dropped something there.
Jesus?
No, it was one of my control. It was my Switch controller.
No, my Hatsune Miku got a statue.
So, next game on the list was weird one. It's coming out in August. It's called Rollerdrome.
It looks so weird with that art style.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Super Hot almost.
Do you know what it kind of reminds me of? It's kind of like a 3D version of that skateboarding indie game that came out earlier this year, Ollie Ollie World.
Yeah.
Except with more guns.
Yeah, and Ollie Ollie World was really good. What about...
Yeah.
The thing is that I was chatting with Reese about this one, and I sent the gif of Cell from Team 4-Star saying, I have so many questions! And he said, yeah, it looks more like a tech demo than it does a full game.
I'm not even sure what the game's meant to be. For a second look at it, at first I thought it was like a roller skating battle royale.
Yeah, which was my point about the tech demo, because watching the whole thing, it's just the character going around arenas shooting stuff, but we don't see a score, a story, missions.
Is this like...
It just looks very much like a proof of concept rather than a game.
Well, it comes out in August, so we'll know then. I mean, PlayStation's trying to put more of the... I don't even know if this is a PlayStation exclusive or not.
I'm not sure, but it does say it's coming to PS4 and PS5.
Hang on, I'll just double check that, and I'll check with the next one that's coming out, because the next one in the trailer. Because
yeah, I'm just really confused by this one, and it just doesn't look interesting. Or anything.
Well, it is coming out of Take-Two Interactive.
No wonder it looks like the Ollie Ollie World. It's made by the same studio.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So that's that. Okay, now the fact that I know that much, actually, that kind of intrigues me a bit more because they are a small studio.
Yeah.
So that is weird. Yeah, no, it is just PS5, PS4, and PC. So this is an
PC.
So this is a PlayStation exclusive. I mean, I always call it an exclusive if it doesn't come to Xbox and Nintendo.
Yeah, well, it's more of a console exclusive to PlayStation.
That's what.
Yeah, it's PlayStation exclusive for the most part.
Yeah.
So next one is also a PlayStation exclusive that comes out in early 2023. It's a game called Enter Nights.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly
Eternite, yeah.
It's a sort of a hack and slash game / dating sim
/ visual novel.
It looks... I don't know what... I keep seeing things like this, and I keep thinking... Like, I think just because it's the first thing on my mind, I'm getting Scarlet Nexus vibes from it.
Yeah, it's a bit of Scarlet Nexus, a bit of Genshin Impact...
Maybe a bit of Persona with the whole interaction thing, and the fact you can actually date people in this one.
Yeah, because I'm going through this trailer right now. It looks very QTE heavy in the combat as well.
Now here's the thing. I'm not usually. I think a lot of these games really struggle to get the balance between the thing plus dating sim. If you catch my drift, I think Persona's one of the few ones that's really managed to get it right. And I'm wondering, will this game manage to get that balance right? Saying it will be enough of a hack and slash as well as a dating sim.
I would also say Scarlet Nexus kind of did it kind of well because you're able to talk to because you have like plenty of opportunities in between missions to talk to different characters and do their side quests, and you get multiple
Elliot's
benefits in game from them.
Oh, he's back. Oh.
Yep. Hey. He went far too hard on the Persona. Crashed his internet.
Oh no!
No, I was on Scarlet Nexus then. I think my internet doesn't like it.
No, Atlas interrupted you. Stop! He's praising Scarlet Nexus.
Yep.
Wait, sir, why are we afraid of Scarlet Nexus? We outsold it by tons. Shut up, you fool!
Yeah, especially because I've got to the part of the trailer now where it's a QT to hold hands.
Yeah,
the fact there's a timer bar is so hilarious.
That is fucking Yakuza levels of stuff. Like, have you guys seen the phone minigame in Yakuza 0? Where,
I have,
you have to
yes.
press the button at the right time?
Oh, that is so weird. You gotta love Yakuza.
It's one of the things that makes Yakuza great.
put it this way, I am curious about this game, but I'm not entirely sold on it yet. I think I want to see a bit more before I make up my mind.
I'll likely get it. It's given like the gameplay is giving me Scarlet Nexus, Astral Chain kind of vibes, which I like those. I like those games. My one issue with Scarlet Nexus was that the game was way too long.
Yeah.
So I feel like if we get like Scarlet Nexus level of gameplay, but it's shorter, I feel like it can be something good.
Okay,
yeah.
Next thing on the list.
But at the very least, have combat as engaging as a Tales series, I guess.
Yeah.
Capcom then came back and said, "You think we've done enough of after doing a victory lap," and decided to do another victory lap because they showed off a new trailer for Street Fighter 6 and announced a release of next year.
Yeah, and dear God, it looks amazing.
Yeah, like I'm not a Street Fighter guy, but holy hell, this makes me want to get the game. It looks really good.
I mean, here's a thing. One, much better logo now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank God they listened to that criticism. Two, I really like the sort of like the new open world idea they've got with this one.
Yeah. Well, although I did notice one negative though, it does mean we will no longer get a Final Fight game.
Ah, yeah, that's in the...
Yeah, because the whole thing is that the open world is set in Metro City, where Mike Hagar was the mayor, and all those games took place.
You never know; they might come into the game. They might do a big Final Fight crossover.
Yeah, they could do.
So let's. I mean, I mentioned this to Ren this morning, and he said that because he's a big Street Fighter fan, he's not really sold on the idea of it being open world. But the thing is, I think it's just for the story mode. I feel like it's going to come with an arcade mode that will be more traditional, and online multiplayer is just going to stick to the normal fighting style.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to come with all the traditional things. Yeah, I feel like it's going to come with all the traditional things you'll get in a fighting game.
I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Street Fighter because I think I have trouble playing it. But I love the world, I love the setting, I love the characters of it.
I mean, you know me. I'm one of those weirdos who thinks Soul Calibur's the best.
And I can see why PlayStation really wanted to get ahead of this one because I don't believe it's exclusive to PlayStation this time, but they do own Evo now, so I think they want to get ahead of the game and sort of say this is a big thing that's going to be at Evo in the future.
Yeah, definitely.
So from the brief bit of gameplay you've seen, which of the characters we've seen so far do you think you'll play as?
Well, Guile wasn't in this trailer, so I haven't got my usual main. I'll probably say Chun-Li. I'm a lot better with a lot of Fast and Furious fighting styles than I am brute force styles.
Yeah.
I'd probably say I'd go for that Jamie character because breakdancing mixed with fighting is always my jam.
Yeah, I think he's like Eddie Gordo in Tekken, and he does capoeira.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: what do you think the balance is going to be like for legacy characters and new characters?
Well, the leaks have come out with artwork, and apparently there are a few of them returning.
I think it's going to be about half and half, and a lot of the legacy characters, and by legacy I mean pretty much the entire cast of Street Fighter 2, will appear as free updates.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see how this one plays out. I mean, it's let's be honest, we're all a lot more excited for Street Fighter 6 than we were before this presentation.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Especially with the whole new art style as well, the whole paint splashes. It feels very Splatoon.
It definitely seems like they're putting more street into the Street Fighter thing.
Yeah.
It does feel like, oh yeah, we're called Street Fighter. Why are we always in arenas?
Yeah.
Next thing, then they did a couple of things from indie devs.
They showed off Tunic, but that's coming.
Yeah, Tunic.
Yeah, so that's no longer exclusive.
So it's no longer after September the 27th. It will no longer be an Xbox exclusive.
Sorry, Microsoft, you're losing more reasons for people to buy your consoles.
Again, Microsoft are just like, we don't care where you're playing our games, just so long as you've got Game Pass subscription. And
yeah,
I think that's finally come back to bite them. Because if you're looking at it, if you've got Game Pass right now, what's there to be excited for? Because the big things for this year were Starfield and Redfall, and they're not coming till next year. It's like, why am I supposed to give you my money? I mean, I still am, but a lot of people are thinking, why am I supposed to give you my money when I'm not getting anything from it? Especially if you've been in the Xbox ecosystem for quite some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Tunic, I played it a bit. It's sort of like a top-down 2D Zelda with the difficulty and mechanics of Dark Souls.
So basically, Dead Cells. No, not Dead Cells. Death's Door.
It's very much like Death's Door. It's very interesting. I personally preferred Death's Door.
I haven't played Tunic. It's been on my list for the year.
Well, it's still on Game Pass, so it's easy to download. It's a fine enough game. I didn't rave about it as much as everyone else did when I gave it a go.
Yeah.
With it coming to, I imagine a Nintendo Switch I think a Switch version already has been announced, actually.
Give me a second. I'll give it a check.
I'm fairly convinced a Switch version was announced like a few months ago, but they didn't have a release date for it. And if it is, I imagine it's coming out the same day.
It hasn't been announced yet.
I think a Switch version is inevitable for this.
There is a bunch of articles say.
Okay.
Oh, it is. Apparently it is, but apparently it is coming, but it's just a timed exclusive to Xbox right now.
Okay, so let's assume that the Switch version will come on September the 27th as well. Reese, are you considering this one?
Yeah, I'll probably pick up a PS5 just because I think the art style look fantastic on a bigger screen.
Yeah,
I'll get for the Switch then. I feel like it's like Death's Door. When I think of indie games, normally the Switch is the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, the Switch really has become my indie machine. Like, I'd swear I got Card Shark, for example.
Like, it's where I've got Hollow Knight, and it's where I've got Dead Cells. It's where
Oh no, not again.
I got most of the. I played Hades on Switch first.
Yeah,
same.
I got the Platinum now on PlayStation 5.
Hey.
I'm going to be coming for it at some point.
Good news is it's not tied to 100% completion. Weirdly.
I'd like to get it after I finish Yakuza because yesterday I have nowhere randomly decided, you know what, I won't get the platinum for Alan Wake.
So
so I'm gonna try and do that. Yeah, I think this obsession has gone a little too far.
So next game was a bit of a weird one. It's called Season: A Letter to the Future. It's coming out in the autumn at the minute. I think this one might get delayed considering they didn't have a set release date for it.
Yeah. The thing is, the first time we saw when we first saw the trailer for this, I think our reaction was, "What the fuck is this game about?" After seeing this trailer for it, my reaction is, "What the fuck is this game about?"
Yeah, I really no idea. Is this a walking sim? Is it a puzzle game?
So all this trailer was, for lack of a better term, sucking this girl's dick. When everyone's saying, "Oh, this girl is so cool. She's amazing," as like nature's talking to her.
Oh, that's cool.
Bitch,
what is it?
What is this game about? Why am I meant to care about her?
Well, I'm going through the trailer now, and it looks like you're going through a journal and trying to uncover the mysteries of your parents.
Oh, that's either going to be really good if they nail the story, or it's going to be really boring and pretentious.
So why not show more of that in the trailer? Why not try and promote the story more rather than just having everyone praise this girl for being unique?
Yeah, no, it's that whole thing of they're saying, "Oh, it's all mysterious." Like, I don't want mysterious. I want you to give me a decent hook of. You've been too mysterious. Give me a decent hook of what the story is about.
Yeah, the way I'm seeing it, this could go one of two ways. This could either go Hades deep, where there's like multiple layers to a number of things to that story.
Or Life is Strange.
Or we could go with the Life is Strange deep.
I knew you were going to say Life is Strange. I knew it.
Where it's deep, like something you see on an Instagram post.
I want to point out he did the quote-unquote deep thing for the audio listeners.
Yeah, whereas the phone bad book good kind of deep. Which I like to hate. And by the way, this is coming from an average reader.
So what about I mean, this did not sell me on Seasons. I mean,
No.
we've seen a couple of trailers for it, and they don't give me a reason to care about it.
I mean, if I have nothing going on that month, I might pick it up to review, but I'm not convinced.
No, I've just gone through the whole trailer again, and the whole story with the journal is like 5 seconds long in that entire trailer.
Yeah, again, it's all, for lack of a better term, sucking off the girl's dick.
Yeah. So the final trailer of the show was the big one.
With a little indie hit.
Different one. It's Square Enix showing off Final Fantasy 16 at last, with a release date of summer 2023, which I believe it. Normally, I don't say this for a Final Fantasy game. I believe it'll hit.
Yeah, because we saw actual gameplay this time, and we actually saw quite a lot from it. And oh my god, this looks so fucking good.
Reese, what did you think of the look of Final Fantasy 16 gameplay?
Yeah, I think it looks great. They're going all out on the graphics, so there's no way this can run on a PS4.
You're like, oh my god, this looks amazing! It feels like it's taking the combat so far beyond what 15 set.
It looks like it's a good combination of different ideas throughout the series, but I've seen some people really not like the look of the gameplay on Twitter.
Why?
Because they said things like, "Oh, there's no other party. It doesn't look like there's any other party members, and it looks like it's just going to be like a beat 'em up game. No thanks from me. I'll stick with 14 and 7." And it's like, or like, nah. 7...
I mean, you are aware that in 7 Remake, you did do a lot of battles by yourself.
Yeah, people ignored that, and especially the same people saying, "I don't care about this. I care more about 7 Remake Part 2." I'm like, dude. 7 Remake Part 2 had tons of moments like that. You're just talking shit now.
Yeah. But like...
Yeah, and also just because we only see the main character in the game doesn't mean we won't get side characters later on.
Yeah, especially considering... Though, and also, it does seem like this is the first one since 10 that's really putting an emphasis on the summons this time.
Yeah, like some of them I'm really surprised by... most of all is the setting, because normally when you think Final Fantasy, it's very sort of techno. It's a lot more sci-fi than fantasy in these. This is full-on medieval fantasy.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that they got a lot of the Final Fantasy 14 creative team in on this, and I think it's interesting they're going back to that. It's kind of another going back to their roots type thing. I'm wondering if we'll have a few callbacks like Final Fantasy 9 had.
Like even Strangers of Paradise, which was kind of like a kind of not retelling of the original Final Fantasy game, had a lot of like sort of techno sci-fi stuff in this. This looks like just full pure medieval fantasy, and I'm all for that. Like, holy hell, this looks amazing.
Yeah, especially because ever since 7, they have gone quite heavy to the sci-fi, either for the main story or for the lore of the world.
Even then, though, they did have certain sci-fi elements. Like in 6, they had like the Magitech armor and whatnot.
What about okay? Here's the thing for Final Fantasy 16. I think it looks really good. I'm really excited to play it. I kind of wish it was coming out in 2022, and I think the only reason it's not. This is the reason I think it will definitely hit its summer 2023 window, is that I think this was meant to come out in October, and it's been pushed because of Forspoken.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And that really annoys me now, because I kind of think if Forspoken hadn't been delayed, this game would have come out this year.
Also, Final Fantasy. Also, apparently, this game is in its final stretch. But even with Final Fantasy, when they're in the final stretches, they're still pretty long.
Yeah.
Like Final Fantasy games do normally take quite a while to be fully developed.
Do you guys think that this will definitely come out in summer 2023, or should we expect it in the more later half of 2023?
No, I see summer's a pretty good set point for it, honestly.
Yeah, if it misses summer, it'll only be a short delay, in my opinion.
Yeah,
like a couple of months.
I don't think this comes out in 2024, for example. I think this.
Yeah, I say if it's not a summer release, it'll be October at the latest.
Yeah.
So what I mean, I do find it interesting. They're sort of suggesting that the main protagonist is going to be some sort of avatar of Ifrit.
That's what it seems like. It seems like a lot of the characters are kind of avatars for the summons.
Because I'm going through the trailer now, and it's very Persona-like, where the summons are just the stands of the person. Because we see each character being introduced, and then the name of the summon flash up like Titan or Phoenix, and then we see it emerging from them.
I mean, there's a few of the usual ones. There's Ramu, there's Shiva. I mean, they didn't show off a few of the others, which I suspect will be in the game.
I think we saw a bit of Bahamut in that one, at least.
Yeah. So we see Ifrit, Bahamut, Garuda, Phoenix, Odin, Shiva.
What about?
So most of the classic ones are in there.
The only one that I'm sort of aware of that hasn't shown up yet is Ixion.
Mm.
I mean, is he a mainstay? Would you say Ixion, or is he kind of like a bit touch and go whether he'll appear?
I don't know if they're a mainstay. I don't really remember them that well. I'll say.
I don't think they're a mainstay.
So, summer 2023. I mean, it's a good time for PlayStation. It looks like PlayStation's going to have a very good year in 2023 from third parties.
Yeah, it can. I'm just gonna say now, summer 2023 cannot come soon enough.
Yeah, I just one last thing before we move on. We actually see the summons actually battle, and it reminds me of the old Godzilla films.
Oh yeah, that da 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 da.
With the health bars, actually, it almost reminds me of a fighting game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what some people didn't really like the look of. They didn't like the fact it sort of resembled a fighting game, and I'm like, guys, Final Fantasy changes up its shit every single game, in some fashion.
Yeah, like they're just being picky.
Yeah, especially because what we see
at that point, if it ain't 7, we don't care.
Yeah, they kind of. I think the Final Fantasy community now has kind of got to that stage where they only want to see 7 Remake Part 2.
Yeah. And also those fighting style health bars are only for the one-on-one battles or the big kaiju battles, because we see normal gameplay, and in that we see the normal health bars.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk. Before we go into what was and wasn't here, how did you guys think this state of play was?
I can't believe I'm saying this about a state of play, but it was really fucking good.
In my opinion, it's probably the strongest one we've seen.
Definitely.
I'm going to say A- is my score for this state of play.
It's a solid day for me. I think it was great.
Yeah, definitely.
It would have been an A+ if God of War's release date was in it.
And we didn't see that indie game with the girl instead. Just swap that out. I put God of War in.
I think swap that out, put God of War, or even that, or put. I'm not going to say put in a Tachia release date because I don't know if I don't think at this point we can say that's definitely coming.
I would agree with you, but at the same time, I also think, well, if we did have God of War Ragnarok in it, I feel like we have to take Final Fantasy 16 now. Yeah. I think 16 had to end the show with this one. Meanwhile, with God of War, probably not. And again, and you could say, well, you could put it at the beginning, then we wouldn't have gotten Resi 4.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe Final Fantasy 16, Resident Evil 4, and God of War would all have been a bit too much in one show. Also, is it just me, or do you think Ragnarok's release date would have eclipsed all of those?
Yeah,
I don't think so. Yeah, because in my opinion, what they could have done was like a small snippet, put the release date, and then said at the end, more will be shown off in its own state of play down the line, in order to not take away Fantasy or Resident Evil.
At the same time, Sony's not really very good at that. It's not really good at promoting state of plays for singular games like Nintendo is for their directs.
So, with that note, there was a lot of discourse online that God of War Ragnarok has been delayed to 2023.
I don't think so. We still have plenty of opportunities to see a release date.
Yeah.
I don't think it has either. I think there's so many signs that this game is coming out in 2022. I've had Nate the Hating MVG in their podcast said that they believed it was definitely coming in 2022. We've had the Korean rating board give it a rating, which suggests they've got a finished version of the game, or a near finished version of the game. It's on the PlayStation store with a 2022 release date on it. I don't see a reason why it doesn't come out this year. I don't think it. I think it's not I don't believe it's going to get pushed back to 2023. If they do, they're really in trouble because it means that they don't have a leg up over Microsoft, which they really need right now.
Yeah, because I'm on the Twitter page for Santa Monica, and there's no word about a delay. They still got it in the header of PS5 and PS4 in 2022.
I think they would have said something by now, I think, if it was going to get delayed.
Yeah, I just see people looking too much into it. I admit, a lot of the times for this kind of things, I'm overly optimistic. But I just don't see Ragnarok at this point in time getting delayed. We still have plenty of opportunities to see it, more stuff from it.
I mean, you go ahead, Reese.
No, I was going to say, they last tweeted 3 days ago, and there's no mention of a delay, so I think they are still on track.
Yeah, I think it's just wasn't at this show. I think they wanted Final Fantasy 16 and Resident Evil 4 to have their moment, and we can have Ragnarok later. Like, it might even show up next Thursday at Jeff Keighley's show, for example. Yeah. It's not that weird. Horizon got its release date at a Jeff Keighley show last year. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do it, if Sony wants to do that again, or if they want to have it have its own state of play. I don't think we should really be considering a delay until next month. I think next month we should start saying, okay, this didn't show up in June. What's happened with this game? Is it getting delayed to 2023?
Yeah.
Do you guys think... I think it will show up late in a few weeks. The reason being that the combination of the Korean rating board and the leak of those items appearing in that UK shop listing suggests a September 30th release date. And I think September 30th sounds right to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'd say if it goes a bit longer, it'll probably be closer into December.
Right, so... Yeah, I mean, I could imagine it would come out in October to November or December. I think that could be a possibility, but... Okay, let's entertain the idea that God of War Ragnarok is going to get... before we do that, is there any other games that we think should have been here that weren't here?
One of the tiny surprise that I was slightly expecting was the Last of Us remake.
Yeah, I think that confirmed that this is definitely not coming this year. I don't see when they're going to show that off again. Unless, again, it's Jeff Keighley's show.
Honestly, and yeah, I'll just say now, no one was upset that we didn't see it.
Nope, no one at all.
If the HBO series is not coming till 2023, I don't think... Because I think they want to put it with a trailer for the HBO show as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we'll see it at the Game Awards, to be honest.
Yeah,
probably.
That feels like a Game Awards announcement. We have the trailer for the game, and then, oh, by the way, we've got a HBO series. Here's the HBO series as well. Or the other way around. It'll be one of the two.
Yeah.
Another game I was very surprised... Tachia was actually when I was surprised didn't show up here. I thought they were going to show up with a new release date for it.
I'm not as surprised.
I'm not incredibly surprised, honestly. I'm not really that surprised, honestly.
Yeah, it's weird, because this is one of the third-party games I'm most interested to play on the PlayStation. The one I'm very glad didn't show up, but I'm a bit worried it's going to show up in Jeff Keighley's show, because it's shown up twice in his show. It's the really colourful MMO that coming out of... I can't remember what it's called. It's the one that's coming out of Korea. It's the one...
the one with the kids.
Yeah, it's the one that it's
one.
It's too colourful for its own good. And the soundtrack is so awful that me and Elliot had to mute it when it was on.
Oh no, that one! Yeah. Why did you do that? I had evicted that from my memories.
It was so bad it broke your internet, Elliot.
God, yeah. Just talking about terrible K-pop always does.
Get yourself prepared. I think it might show up in Jeff Keighley's show next Thursday.
No, definitely.
Oh no.
He's done it twice now. I don't see why I wouldn't do it a third time. But let's move on to happier thoughts. Let's look at Sony's year post State of Play. So they've got PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium launching later this month. So we're a few weeks off that, so we'll get access to a bunch of PS1 games, which I think will be cool. I think that's going to be a good... I think it'll be good on some level, and the service looks quite good. For example, I'm going to definitely get a service to play Wild Arms.
Yeah. even though that is locked to 50 hertz again.
I think it's a 60 hertz version. It's a 60 hertz version on the PlayStation Mini.
No, it's been data mined and people have gone through it. It's the PAL version.
Oh,
God.
I don't care. As long as I get to play Wild Arms, it's fine.
I'm probably going to get it because, if I remember, there's an Ape Escape coming to it.
Ape Escape is coming to it. That's one of the 50 hertz
which is also the wrong version as well.
Ape Escape. I'm going to get... So Ape Escape.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? To be fair, we weren't complaining when we were kids and we had these games. I mean, admittedly, we didn't know better, but that's aside from the point.
And it was also of our hands, because it was government's fault that we had to have crappy TVs growing up.
Yeah, but that was based on a misconception about how electricity works in the UK compared to America.
Yep. Which is why we got pallets of NTSC.
So that's coming out. Then we got Stray on July the 19th. August a bit of a misnomer. Although in terms of PlayStation themselves, they're going to put Spider-Man on PC. And we've got this Roller Drome that's coming from the Ollie Ollie World devs. And in September, let's say for argument's sake, God of War Ragnarok's coming September, and October we have Forspoken.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty. I think if they round out the year like that, that's a pretty good year for PlayStation.
I'd say it's decent.
Yeah, and also don't forget in December we're having the Among Us in VR.
Oh, is that coming December now?
Yeah, that's when they last said it was.
Ah, yes, I can be sus right at my eyes.
I mean, that was obviously going to go to Oculus Rift before it goes to PlayStation VR 2.
Yeah.
That is a good selection of... That's a good rest of 2022 for PlayStation. It certainly would end on a much better note than, say, last year, where it was kind of like a bunch of remasters and director's cuts, and then it ended with Deathloop.
Yeah.
I mean, close to the end, they haven't one of the major IPs come out, so it's definitely a plus.
So again, we're going under the assumption that God of War is September, which I personally believe at this stage it is, but I'm waiting for confirmation of that. It would have been nice to have confirmation of that.
As I said, I feel like if it's not, it'll be a November, December release.
Yeah, I don't believe it's going to be 2023 at this point.
Yeah.
And 2023 looks very good, all things considered, on all these different consoles. I mean, but PlayStation really brought something out of the bag. I'm wondering, though, what's happening with some of the first-party titles for PlayStation, because it seems at the minute they're kind of... Look at all those games we just listed. Only one of those is Sony first-party. The rest are third-party titles.
Well, didn't you say that this state of play was mostly focusing on the third-party stuff?
Yeah, and that's all well and good. Yeah. But what is gonna? I'm wondering what is Sony planning with their first-party titles, not their third-party exclusives. Like, what's going to happen with? I think next year we need to start seeing Wolverine and Spider-Man 2, for example.
Yeah, especially considering if I remember Spider-Man 2, we did get a release window of 23.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Spider-Man, they've got to start focusing on Spider-Man 2 soon. Is that... And I'm wondering... I reckon, judging by this, they are giving out the message 2023 is the third party's year, and we'll have Spider-Man 2, but we're also going to launch PlayStation VR. And that... I feel like they are also sending out the message, after God of War... VR2 is really Sony's first-party focus.
Yeah, it appears to be that way.
Let's just hope it's not another Xbox Kinect situation.
Now, the weird thing is, I don't think it is, because Sony's first VR did quite well, but that being said, I'm a casual VR person. I'm not a huge VR person, but that was mainly because there wasn't a lot coming out for it that was very interesting and exciting. It looks like Sony's really addressing that, and they want to have a very big launch lineup, and they want to really promote this thing. And you look at the games they got so far. You got Horizon Call the Mountain, Doom 3 VR, No Man's Sky, the Resident Evil games. That already means you've got a VR system that is got way more interesting and longer experiences than what the first VR did. It feels like first VR was proof of concept. This is now it fully realised.
Yeah, and also compared to Kinect, it actually works.
Ha!
And there's actually, however, there is one thing I think a lot of people will be disappointed by. There's no Beat Saber, damn it!
Oh, Beat Saber's coming to it. It's just a matter of time. They will definitely put Beat Saber
Yeah,
on.
I mean, it's literally the only VR game I've ever played. So...
we've already stated what we think about our chances of buying VR 2. Oh, God. Where was I? I mean, it's
also, one game we didn't talk about that could have been here, the new Avatar game. That's going to launch at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think that's something Ubisoft will want to talk about themselves.
Yeah, I think they're saving that for a Ubisoft Forward this month or next month.
Yeah. At the same time, we thought that with Final Fantasy 16 with Square.
No, correction. You two thought it was going to be in a Square show. I said right from the start, and we can check the tape back. I said right from the start, I think it's in a Sony show.
I would check back, but that will require me having to hear my voice, which I really don't want to do.
So, that brings me to a point. Predictions that we've gotten right so far. We got right that there would be a Sony show. We got right that we predicted that there might be a trailer for Jedi Fallen Order 2, and that did happen.
Yeah, which was my prediction.
Didn't that happen like immediately after we started recording?
Yeah, it did.
It happened the day after because it was Star Wars Celebrations.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember. I think there was a GIF. There's a Paul Merton quote, which should be a GIF at this point, and I thought he could have sent it where he goes, "Fuck me, I'm psychic."
Yeah. Star Wars Celebration Day, aka the day where people sent a bunch of racist comments to one of the actors in Kenobi.
Yep.
Oh, that
and to everyone who did that, fuck off. Just fuck off. She did not deserve that. You are the people that's making me hate the Star Wars community. Fuck off.
Yeah. Also, because I'm the only one up to stay on Kenobi. Her character is not very well written, but that is not the actress's fault. It's got absolutely nothing to do with her race. So if you go after the actor because of her race, you're a bad person.
If you need another example to that, there's actually something that happened a few weeks back. We got shown who the person who's playing Annabeth was in the Percy Jackson series.
Oh yes, I saw that.
A bunch of people were sending her racist comments because Annabeth's not white. The problem is, I think it was worse with this one because she's fucking 12.
Oh Jesus!
Oh God!
And
the thing is, the new person...
it was to the point where even the author Rick Crichton had to come out and say, "Yeah, if you're sending comments to this person for being different, you didn't learn anything from the books I wrote."
And the new Percy Jackson looks really good.
Yeah, like, come on, I'm a hardcore Percy Jackson fan. That series was my Harry Potter. I'm happy with the casting choice.
Actually, here's actually, that's a point we never talked about. The possibility of the game that I don't want to talk about because the author's an awful person.
Yes, that one.
But it got its own state.
She who will not be named.
But that game got its own state of play that I didn't watch, and I won't be buying it. So
no one did. No one did. Mostly because you were streaming during the exact same time as it was on.
Yeah, actually, we have to.
I did watch afterwards, and it looks bad because there's literally pay-to-win mechanics and time wasters in the game.
Good. Good. In a game aimed at children. Thank you. Fucking hell.
So skip immediately.
Yeah.
Did it get a release date in the end?
I can't recall.
Oh, who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit? No one cares.
I love the fact that Sonic kicked its ass at the box office.
Yeah. At the same time, the Crimes of Grindelwald really didn't do that well. I don't think. I think it was
that there's
it's quite. I mean, it's quite clear that Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them was meant to be a standalone movie.
Actually, there's I know someone who does a very good Sonic impression, and he did manage, when I mentioned that, he did manage to do his Sonic impression saying "Suck it, rolling." The worst, but the worst thing about this show for me was the fact that there was no God of War release date. But I didn't need that one.
But we got amazing things in sacrifice of that.
Yeah, that was a decent thing. And let's. Any other predictions that we got right so far? We got right RE4. We kind of got right about Capcom. We said they would do something Resident Evil related, and we kind of got a lot of things that we were guessing about right.
We just didn't get the right thing. We thought it would be Resi 8 DLC.
I kind of thought. I think I said at the time there might be a RE4 remake, but I was a bit skeptical on it. But
well, if you squint and think about it, RE8 VR could be classed as DLC.
Could be. But the point is, we kind of got it right, but we didn't quite get it right on that one.
Yeah, we got part of it right.
Yeah.
So we're kind of that seems to be where our predictions kind of went. We're kind of getting it right, but not quite there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which incidentally, which bodes well for Jeff Keighley's show next Thursday. I mean, which brings me to the point now. We're going to be back this time next week with our thoughts on the Summer Games Fest kickoff show,
which is when, Cal? Just for the audience.
That'll be the Jeff Keighley shows 7 p.m. British time on YouTube and Twitch. I don't know if this one's going to UK IMAX cinemas, and even if it was, I wouldn't bother.
No.
But we'll be doing the podcast the same time next. We're going to aim for around the same time the next week. We're going to do it on June the 10th. And, of course, we'll be back on the Monday after that with our thoughts on the Xbox show.
Yep.
Which I imagine is going to be another one where I'm pretty much having to talk through most of it because these two don't really give a crap about Xbox.
I mean, I have Game Pass, so I'll probably talk about it.
And I don't have an Xbox on Game Pass.
I reckon, though, Reese, a bunch of things in it. Xbox like to get those third-party announcements in there, so I reckon there'll be some stuff coming to PlayStation 5 that you'll like in it.
Oh, definitely.
So we'll all see you next time. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
Take care, y'all.